This is the Apple Watch Series 9. Whether you are upgrading from a previous generation or this is your first Apple Watch, nothing else in its price range comes close to its functionality. But I was hesitant on whether or not the Series 9 was just a pass year and Apple was holding all of its marbles for the Apple Watch 10 next year. But boy, was I wrong. This Series 9 is well worth the upgrade and for a few reasons. So stick around and let's get into it. For the Series 9 this year, I picked up the 45mm version, but decided to go with the Wi-Fi only version. I had picked up the full cellular model with my last couple of watches and wanted to test this side for the Series 9. I went with the Sport Loop band and thought I would like it, but realized after getting the band wet, it would stay wet for well over an hour, and this was one of my major gripes about the Trail Loop with the Apple Watch Ultra. So I quickly swapped back to my Nike silicone Sport Loop as I just do not like having a wet band. The band was comfortable, easy to adjust, and the Velcro seems like good quality. There was no falling apart or pilling after a few weeks of use. For the color, I stuck with the Midnight Black. After having the Ultra last year and seeing the rumors of a Midnight Ultra watch, I was ready to pull the trigger on that model. But after the announcement and only the same color returning for the Ultra 2, I decided to go with the Midnight for the Series 9. But physically, the Apple Watch has not changed. Apple has stuck with a very similar design since its inception, and I can kind of see why, as other smartwatch companies are trying to do the round display on a smartwatch. And unless they are massive, similar to the Motorola watch of early Google Wear days, it just seems like everything on the screen just doesn't fit right, or the only actual usable part of the screen is right in the middle, where you can actually see everything on the display. So I have no problem with Apple sticking to this squared off design. But something that did change is the display. The Series 9 is doubling its peak brightness and matching last year's Ultra at 2000 nits peak brightness. You can definitely tell when using this watch in direct sunlight that the display has been ramped up. No longer is there any issues seeing this display, and if you put an older generation beside the Series 9, this is where you see a huge difference. Here I can show you the Series 5 to compare, as I don't have a Series 8 with me to test year-over-year changes, but be sure that you can notice a difference. And when using the flashlight, the nip bump comes in clutch, as this is one of my favorite features of the Apple Watch. I do miss the quick action button of the Ultra, but having Siri no longer needing a connection to the internet to do such things as turn on the flashlight, start a workout, is a big improvement. But more on that later. On the other side of things, the S9 display has improved and is now able to dim all the way down to just 1 nit. Now, previous models were able to, I believe, get down to as low as 2 nits, but during sleep, this will actually drain the battery a lot less, and you should wake up with more battery than previous generations. Speaking of the battery, Apple states that the Series 9 will give you 18 hours of normal use or 36 hours with low power mode enabled. This is a big deal, as if you are going away for a night, you can charge your watch, choose low power mode, and the watch should well last you over 2 days. Apple seems to lowball these numbers. Even with normal use, I am able to get easily 24 hours of use and still have about 25 to 35% left in the tank. Do take in mind, I am not playing or streaming music. I don't take phone calls on my watch. I am not using the cellular version either this year, so your use may differ. But I do wear it to sleep, and I try to include a 60-minute workout and usually take the dog for a walk or two. But I normally put it on the charger when I come down to work on these videos, which is around 8 p.m., and I pick it up just before I head to bed, which is about 11 p.m. This year's bump in specs is a significant one, but one that is not going to truly be felt in a day-to-day use. Having a Series 6, 7, or 8 is still going to feel fast and handle everything you throw at it. Heck, my wife still has the Series 5, and it's doing just fine. But the neural engine has been increased to 2 times faster, and this allows the Apple Watch to handle certain queries without the need of an internet connection. Things like turning on the flashlight, starting a particular workout, setting an alarm, and basic conversions. Now, even some things that you think Siri should know will cause her to go out and search on the internet, as she still does need some work on the back end, but nevertheless, it is here, and when it works very well for when I need it. The other big push in power is for what Apple is calling double tap. This was quite controversial when Apple announced the feature, as many were stating that this feature already exists in the accessibility options. But I can say for sure that double tap works much better than assistive touch. I am getting well into the high 90% success rate. I could not say the same for assistive touch. I tried it on my older generations and turned it off, as it just caused me to take more time actually trying to do the thing when I could have just stopped and tapped the screen. But double tap allows you to tap a function on the watch when you only have one hand free. No longer do I need to use my nose to try to tap the screen, as that is just not a good look. But double tap can be adjusted to be used the way you like it, whether to play, pause, or skip media. You can cycle through or select widgets in the new watchOS 10 menu. But the major functions is when your watch is ringing and you're in the middle of something, or you want to take a family picture, but you just don't have the second hand to tap your watch. Just being able to tap your fingers is much easier, and only works when your watch is raised. So don't worry about those missed touches while the watch is at the side of your body. And when successful, the watch will give a little haptic feedback when it senses the double tap, so that you know that it worked. I have used this much more than I ever thought I would when I first saw the demo. Something that I was not aware of though, and this is a good thing, is I don't believe Apple made this announcement during their presentation, but the internals of the watch have been bumped to 64 gigs. Because this gives plenty of room to download multiple music playlists, podcasts, and even audiobooks. And I wanted to give the non-cellular model a try, as this would allow me to disconnect on off days and still wear my watch and still have access to some music and audiobooks. But with this much storage on a watch, I can pretty much do the same things I did with my previous watches with cellular. And so far, I am liking it. But what has happened when I left my phone for a day and a half, I forgot where I put it, or someone in the house moved it, and I could not find it. Luckily, I do have the new iPhone 15, which means I have access to the new ultra-wideband chip and the Find My features between the Series 9 and the iPhone 15. I can pretty much stand in the middle of my house and be guaranteed for it to pick up my phone and give me the direction of where I left it. As this feature reaches up to 100 feet, or give or take 30 to 35 meters. And this comes in clutch when leaving the house and not remembering where I put my phone down last. But like I mentioned, if you are in the market for a new Apple Watch, the Series 9 is a great watch. And if you do like the design, then this may be the last version of this squared display, since the Series X is set to be launched next year. And we all saw what Apple did with the iPhone 10, so I am expecting a big design change to the Apple Watch next year. And I'm sure rumors will start to be flowing early 2024. But thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I hope you have a great day.